Hey, what's up, guys? This is Mike here with Ninja Signals Trading. Just wanted to bring you guys a really quick daily update after the last Bitcoin moved. The last Bitcoin moved last night. So, if you guys have watched my last weekly update, this was the trade that we've been looking for almost 2 weeks now. So, a little nugget here. This is sometimes where patience pays off because this last couple of weeks. There's been some scalps here and there, but there's really been only about I think four big trades that we've taken, so only two big trades a week. We've been waiting for this one for 2 weeks now. Um, so and then if you're wondering how this went, so as I was saying in my update video, we're waiting for mid 31K, and that's how that played out. Literally to the exact dollar of our desired entry. So, this is why I've been patient because we've had this setup with there's one, two, three, four levels of confluence here. So this was a very, very high probability trade. So there's really no need to overly trade any of these drops while we're waiting for this big one. So the point of this video is to kind of talk you guys through, what now on Bitcoin. That I'll cover a little bit of gold. So as I've been mentioning in my weekly update videos, that the longer that we spend down here in this range, so if you guys remember, we've been trading in this, large range for, what is this, over 2 months now? So I was saying the longer that we spend down here and the more accumulation happens down here, the more likely we're to go up, right? After this little swing failure, I said we either head straight up or we consolidate here, go sideways, and that will give me the up bias. Does that mean we can't come down and take these lows right below 30K? No, but I think the probability of us breaking 29K, so we could come down below these lows and take some liquidity before heading up, but the probability that we break this low before heading up first to our 42 target, maybe even 48 to 52 target. That's well and far away. But if we head down there and come back in the range, I would say, it's very bearish. But if you just look at the entire range, the point of control has shifted. So there's a lot more volume happening down here. Whereas if you look at, a month ago, all the volume transacted was very high up. So this looked like a, redistribution range right here. And now overall it's looking a lot more like accumulation. And the easy way to tell is where the volume is. If you look at our local range, all the volume is right here, concentrated down here. So with that being said, we are likely to head up. I would give this about a 80 to 90% chance that we head at least to the high 30Ks, if not 40K, top of the range. I would say from there, I judge it, on if it's going to look like we're going to head to 42K and 48, between the 48, 52. I'd want to see that in real time before it gets here. By the time it gets there for our real time targets, but to talk you guys through that trade last night. So, in my opinion, it was a pretty easy trade. Couple of things, right? We had this weekly level that was holding support for a couple of weeks now, and we held it again. And as you would imagine, there would be a lot of stops right here, right? So this is why I was so interested in this 31K level, and I kept, bringing it up, and I was so patient on not taking very many large trades. We did take the last big long that we took was down here, and then we closed a lot of it up here, and here we are. So a couple of reasons. There was all these stops, so the liquidity to be grabbed, and you had so much confluence down here, and I erased it now, but there was a naked point of control. Actually, the naked point of control is right there, and there was a naked pivot down here, right? So remember, these naked pivots have 90% chance of being hit. So my theory on that was the likelihood of us taking that out is very high. So that leads us to this, and this is a classic Bitcoin pattern, right? You come down to the drop, and then you have a consolidation, and then you take the lows and right back up, right? So this is very bullish. A couple of other things that make me bullish about this besides the accumulation. So locally here, the volume delta is a little bit bearish. But if you compare this to the last drop, where so this is the last low, this is the low of the 28 mid 28K drop, right? We have lower cumulative volume delta, which means there's a lot more net shorts opening up, and the price has not been pushed down as low as this drop right here. So this is overall bullish. Locally, we're a little bit bearish because the volume delta is a little bit higher, where we haven't pushed as high as this high right here. So that leads me to believe. And then if you look at the volume down here, this was a lot of longs getting stopped out right here. A lot, actually. Let me go down to a 15-minute view. Okay. So a lot of longs getting stopped out here. So we had a lot of, we had a lot of shorts happening, which was a lot of longs closing out, which would be filling other longs. Not a whole lot of volume here, which you'd want to see a little bit more on these stops getting triggered, but it's good enough to give me the bullish bias right now. But that doesn't mean we can't head down a little bit first. So we did form a right here. Oh, one other thing, we went below this 618 speed fan and we came right back up. So pretty bullish in my opinion. So we do have this row of single prints. We do have this Asian naked pivot. So my next long setup is right here, as you guys can see in the group, with taking out this naked pivot before we head up. This could take a while. We could do this, come back down. I think there's a possibility we find support, but if we fill this row of single prints, I think that's rather bearish. But I think we do one of these. Take these lows right here, grab the liquidity, get supported off the single prints, and go back up. Or alternatively, we could go up a little bit first. Could even take out this pivot, come out, take out this pivot, and then continue back up. So in the short term, as I mentioned, I believe we're bullish, but we're a little over 2 months into the consolidation, and as I said at the beginning of this range, we could be in here for up to 3 months. So it doesn't mean necessarily that we're going to blast off. We still could be hovering around here for a while, but my thought is we have this setup right here, down to about 31.3. We have over a 70% chance of not taking out these lows before we head up. And I would say over a 90% chance of not taking out these right here, the 29K before we head up. So that's where we're at. We do have the next trap area, I would say, is in the we'll call it the 35K range right here, right? This is your next bull trap area. So the way that we're playing it is we're long from down here. And these longs would have been stopped, so we're long from here, right? So if you're in those positions, I would treat this as a scalp, and I would close out right about here, right? That would be a nice scalp if you want to maintain some of your positions or head short there. If you're not in any position, then if you take this long in this area, then I would hold some, but I would definitely hedge a short right here, in the high 34K range, or 35K. That would be the next move, but it doesn't happen tomorrow. And I think the biggest thing on why this long worked out is there was so much fear. Everybody was talking about the descending triangle, which this is another nugget right here. Do I have this descending triangle drawn out? Nope. Oh, actually, this is the big triangle. So, yeah, this this is the big descending triangle that didn't play out. So this is why I do not like to base my trades off of patterns. So we had this, what was it right here, right? So many people were looking at this descending triangle. Okay, you could even, draw the lows a little bit lower here, right? So I mean, this was the triangle. So there were stops right here, there were stops right here, and as soon as we broke down, there was a lot. I mean, look at this in the volume profile. On this drop right here, you had, just on bybit, you had 264 million volume on this 15-minute candle, 63 million net shorts, and then we came down here again, 59 million volume, 18 million net shorts. So this is not just the short positions that opened, this is how many more shorts than there were longs. And again right here, right, 13 million net shorts. So you had a lot of people, this is not even speculating, but you had a lot of people trading this breakout, right? Because there was a lot of bearishness. People were talking about the lower levels, people were talking about this descending triangle, which this was a larger descending triangle right here. This, right? We broke down and came right back in. Same thing with this descending triangle, fake out to the downside, now we're right back in. So there was a lot of liquidity to be had because you had a lot of people try to break out short, fill in the larger long positions, mine included, and generated a lot of liquidity up. And there was also the GBTC unlock happening. I believe a big chunk of it is Sunday, which I would say that's actually a non-event, or that's actually slightly bullish. So you had all these things. Fear and greed was very fearful, and you just had a lot of retail looking for sub 30K levels, right? So that's a lot. I mean, while we're still in the range, which is a little bit crazy to me because we're still in the range, so no reason to look for sub 30K levels. So those were a lot of factors together that that caused this. And I would argue that we didn't go up right away because everybody started talking about Wyckoff accumulation again. And then so a lot of retail was longing into, this was actually, we still have a short open from here, and we have a short open from here and here. So, and 58K, 58.8, so 59K effectively. So we still have all those shorts. But you had a lot of retail FOMO longing right here, which I believe those longs definitely got punished. And a lot of them are probably out of the market now. So, if we hover around these levels for another couple of weeks, I would deem that as good. But the only thing that I would note is if we hover around here for a couple of weeks without visiting higher levels, then I would say there's a higher chance of these stops getting grabbed before continuing up. So the only thing to keep in mind for those longs. So definitely, pay attention to your take profit levels. I think that's about it for Bitcoin. If there's any other major developments, I will, pop in and do another update. But on gold, this was the setup that we were looking for from over the weekend. So where is that? So right here. I always give my setups ahead of time. So that came down and gave a nice little 70 pip trade. Not bad at all. Using the Ninja Fib strategy that we're actually in another sell entry right here, which is a little bit riskier now, but ultimately looking for the trappy area that I mentioned over the weekend update, a little bit higher. But overall on gold, this obviously does look very bullish. We formed a range, deviated, came up, formed another range, broke out of the range so far. What I would say is, so we're in buy positions already. If you're not in a buy position, this is really hard to chase up here. Breakout trading is highly, highly dangerous in my opinion. But, testing the top of this range, that would be another valid buy area. As I mentioned over the weekend video, where was it? That would be the ideal buy position if we get all the way down there. So it doesn't necessarily mean that would happen. Look how nice these pivots get tagged. And the Fib strategy has been has been working like an absolute charm. So we had this trade yesterday. So, or was that on Monday? I don't even remember. But we originally had this 786 fill. We had a little bit of a take profit, eventually hit the 886 target and down to the major take profit to the dollar before continuing up. So power of the fib strategy there. If you actually did it a second time, hit the 886, didn't hit the major take profit target, but this would have produced at least a nice take profit with 100 pips there. So we'll see how this one plays out, but I would say we're macro overall bullish. That doesn't mean we can't range around here or test back on this range or test back in the middle of this range before continue up. But I do think there's we'll hit the trappy area, and I do think there's a good possibility we hit our major buy targets up here. Down here, but this could take months, right? We're still in the summer lull, I believe, for gold and Bitcoin, but that's about it, guys. Yeah, let's crush it, stay safe, and I'll see you guys next time.